Hi, everyone. This is Global Podcast, your window to the world. Breaking news, big ideas, your global hangout for what's happening now, and bold conversations. Wherever you are, we're bringing it to you. Let's get started.
Ever get that super annoying feeling when you're, trying to watch something online, or maybe you're in the middle of a video call and then suddenly, bam, the internet just drops out.
Ugh, yeah. The worst.
It's like the worst, right? Total disconnect, even if it's just for a few seconds. Drives me crazy. And, well, turns out there's a whole lot of effort going on right now to try and fix that for everyone on a global scale even. So we're diving into that today with SpaceX and their latest Starlink launch.
Yeah, it's really fascinating stuff. This Falcon 9 mission we're looking at is basically all about giving more people around the world access to the internet.
Okay, so you've been looking into the details of this launch. Can you give us the rundown, like what exactly happened and why is this launch such a big deal?
Sure. So this particular mission, they call it Starlink 672. It lifted off on Saturday, April 5th, 2025. Pretty late, too, at 11:07 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 03:07 UTC on April 6th, depending on where you are.
Gotcha.
And it launched from, the usual spot, Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. They used a Falcon 9 rocket, and it went southeasterly to reach low Earth orbit.
Low Earth orbit, right. So that's relatively close to us, right? I mean, compared to other satellites. What's the advantage of putting them in that kind of orbit?
Yeah, so LEO, that's what they call it. It's usually like a few hundred to maybe 1,000 kilometers above the Earth. And the good thing about keeping them lower is it means less lag. Latency, they call it. So basically faster signals and stronger signals, too, compared to those satellites way out there.
Makes sense.
Oh, and about an hour after the launch, all 28 of the Starlink satellites were deployed right into their intended orbits, too. No problems there.
Wow, 28 new satellites in one go.
Yeah.
That's a lot of new hardware up there. And these aren't just any Starlink satellites, right? These are the V2 minis.
Yeah.
Second generation stuff. So what's the big difference between these and those older Starlink models? Like, what couldn't the old ones do that these can?
Okay, so what's really cool here is how much SpaceX has improved things. These V2 mini satellites, they can cover way more ground, literally. More areas, more users, all at the same time, potentially. And they've got much better bandwidth, too, which means, for people actually using them, the internet's going to be a lot faster and smoother.
Okay, so it's not just about reaching more places. It's about making sure the connection's actually good.
Exactly. But here's the real kicker. I bet you've heard about this. It's the direct-to-cell thing they're doing with these second-generation satellites.
Direct-to-cell. Yeah, that sounds kind of revolutionary. So how does that even work?
All right, imagine this. You're holding your regular smartphone, right? But instead of connecting to a cell tower, it's talking directly to these satellites. No tower needed. That's the goal, anyway. Now, I mean, at first, the speeds might not be as fast as what you get with normal cell service, but the idea is that it'll at least provide, a basic connection. Enough for texting, maybe, and eventually, who knows, even voice calls. Think about what that means for places with zero cell service, like really remote areas, or maybe somewhere after a natural disaster where the cell towers are down. Could be a lifeline,
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just about checking your email when you're camping. It could actually save lives. And the best part is, you don't need some special satellite phone. It's just your normal phone.
That's huge. Okay, so the new satellites are definitely a step up. But what about the rocket itself, the Falcon 9? I heard that the booster they used for this launch, it's got some stories to tell.
Oh, yeah. This booster, they call it B1078. It just hit a pretty big milestone. This was actually its 19th flight.
19 flights. Wow. That really shows how much SpaceX cares about reusability.
Oh.
So what kind of missions has this booster been on before? Like, what makes it so tough that it can fly that many times?
Well, it's been all over the place, really. It was part of the Crew 6 mission, the one that took those astronauts up to the International Space Station. And it also flew the USSF 124 mission for the U.S. Space Force. Plus, before this Starlink launch, it had already done 14 other Starlink missions.
Wow. Busy booster.
Yeah, and the reason it can fly so many times comes down to, really smart engineering, obviously. But they also do super thorough maintenance, and after every landing, they collect tons of data, from the flight. And that helps them tweak the designs, improve things. It's a whole process.
So each flight, it's like a learning experience, making the next one even better.
That's the idea. And, oh, speaking of landings, this booster, it came back down about 8 minutes after liftoff. Landed right on SpaceX's drone ship. You know the one, just read the instructions, still out there in the Atlantic.
Just read the instructions. I love that name. So another perfect landing then. Another one for the record books. What does this mean for SpaceX, though? I mean, big picture. They've done so many of these landings now, it's almost routine.
It is pretty amazing. So this landing, it was the 114th one for that drone ship. But get this, it was SpaceX's 427th booster landing overall.
427, that's incredible.
Yeah, and it really shows how far they've come with this whole reusability thing. I mean, it's a big reason why space travel is getting cheaper.
I can only imagine. So this Starlink launch, it's obviously not just a one-off thing, right?
Yeah.
It's part of something much bigger. How does it fit into what SpaceX has been doing this year, like in 2025?
Well, if you look at the whole year so far, this Starlink 672 mission was actually SpaceX's 39th Falcon 9 launch.
39 launches already.
That's right. And here's the thing, about 2/3 of those launches were for Starlink. More satellites.
2/3. Wow, they're really serious about this, huh?
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's clearly a priority for them.
So with these 28 new ones, how many Starlink satellites are up there now, total?
Right now, the Starlink constellation, the operational part of it anyway, it's got over 7,100 satellites. That's more than any other satellite network ever, by a long shot.
Over 7,100. I can't even imagine that many satellites. So with all those up there, all working together, what does it actually mean for people, down here on Earth? Especially in places where, like, the internet's not so great.
Well, the main goal is to improve internet access around the world, especially for those really remote places or places that just don't have good internet options. Rural communities, places out at sea, even places that have been hit by natural disasters.
Yeah.
Where it's just really hard or impossible to set up normal internet infrastructure, with cables and stuff. That's where Starlink comes in.
So it's about reaching those people who are, like, left out of the digital world.
Exactly. And it's actually working. Right now, Starlink has over 5 million users in 125 countries. And with these new satellites, the V2 minis, that number is only going to go up.
5 million users? That's
Right.
a lot of people. And it makes sense that they can do this whole thing because they can reuse those rockets, right? Otherwise, it'd just be way too expensive.
Absolutely. Reusability is a game changer. It makes launching things into space so much cheaper. So yeah, Starlink wouldn't be possible without it. And it means we can do all sorts of other cool stuff in space too.
Makes sense. Hey, before we wrap up, I was curious about the weather during the launch. Those things can get delayed pretty easily if the weather's not cooperating.
Oh, this one was perfect. They had like a 95% chance of good weather. Clear skies, nice and stable atmosphere over Florida. There's a little bit of wind. They were keeping an eye on that, but in the end, it was totally fine. No delays.
So a smooth launch, perfect conditions, delivering even more internet to the world. Okay, so let's sum this up. What are the big takeaways from this Starlink mission?
All right, so main points. We've got 28 new Starlink satellites up there, the fancy second generation kind. Better coverage, faster speeds, and that whole direct-to-cell thing, which is super exciting. The Falcon 9 booster, it did its 19th flight, which is just amazing. And SpaceX is still going strong with their whole reusability program, which is changing the game for space travel. This launch means the Starlink network is even bigger now, more users, more coverage. It's really all about connecting everyone everywhere.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it. This whole idea of global communication is changing so fast.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what's next. So here's something to think about. How is this all going to change the way we live? I mean, especially with that direct-to-cell technology. Imagine a world where everyone, no matter where they are, has access to information. What would that look like?
It's a big question. And it's not just about like getting better Wi-Fi at your cabin in the woods. This is about how we connect as a species, how we communicate. The possibilities are kind of mind-blowing, really.
There really are. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.